one of the main attractions here at the Botanic Garden is this sensory garden. This space was designed by landscape architect Professor Michael Holmes. Well, Michael, tell us, what is a sensory garden?
A sensory garden is a garden that's really trying to engage the five senses: touch, taste, sound, sight, and really invite the users to interact with through those senses with the garden. The second piece of a sensory garden is really a garden for everyone. So designing a garden for small children, for adults, for the elderly, as well as designing the garden for those with mental or physical disabilities.
And I know you've incorporated several elements into the design here to make that garden more accessible. Tell me about some of these.
Well, what we're really trying to achieve is universal accessibility, accessible for all. And it can be a technique as simple as a hanging basket that raises and lowers depending on the user's height or if they're in a wheelchair. One of the main elements in this garden is we brought the garden up by using raised walls. Traditionally, it's on the ground plane, and you kind of look at the plants.
You have to bend over to reach those, and not everybody can do that. And I know you have, I see two different heights here.
So we're using a 30-inch wall in this case. This is a tabletop height. It's good for leaning as well. But if you're in a wheelchair, you can work the bed adjacent to the wall. And we're also using a lower wall, an 18-inch wall, which is a perfect seat wall. It also brings the plants up so you can, as you walk by, you can touch them, or you can use it for seating as well.
I imagine for kids too, it brings the garden right up
Right,
to
it
their
really
height.
does. And that idea of making it for everybody, so sizes, abilities as well.
Now you've designed this space so that there's a room for each sense, and they're connected by these little corridors, but these help indicate to people maybe with limited visibility that we're moving from one room to the next. How does that work?
So we try to design in a series of subtle cues. So the rooms themselves have a very smooth brick that's used, and then the hallways are using a beveled brick in this case. There's also some spatial cues here. The arbors are in between each room, enclosing the space. It also provides a little shade as you move through, giving those kind of activating
feel
the
difference.
senses.
And I could certainly feel the difference beneath my feet as I move over one paver to the next. Well, let's talk a bit about engaging the senses. How have you accomplished that?
In each room we have a series of architectural elements. It might be a xylophone or a wind chime in the sound room, a kaleidoscope in the sight room, a water feature in the touch room. So using those elements as interactive features in the garden.
And of course the plants are important
And of course
too.
the plants are important. All gardens have to have plants. So selecting the proper plant that really activates the sense. So again, examples in the touch room, everybody's real familiar with lamb's ear, real
Nice,
smooth
soft.
and soft. Everybody loves to touch that. And then contrasting that potentially with a harder plant or rougher texture.
Coarse texture, sure.
Of course, edibles in the taste room,
That's a good one.
strawberries, other fruits or vegetables type plants. In the sight room, contrasting high contrast colors, bright colors in the sight room as well. And in the sound room, selecting plants that rustle in the wind or
Attract bees.
Or insects that cause that buzzing and really bring the garden to life.
Well, this last room here is much larger, and this is a type of gathering space for you.
It is. This is our educational space. We can hold workshops here, interactive workshops and educational sessions. One of the elements designed here, we have this raised bed all the way around on the exterior wall, and during those workshops we can pull this plant material out, plant new plant material as well.
So it provides a little workspace, kind of like an outdoor classroom here.
Very, very much so.
Well, this garden was sponsored by a grant as well, correct?
Correct. ODDC, which is Oklahoma Developmental Disability Council, funded the majority of this garden, and it ties right into their mission as well, is providing spaces and places for everyone.
Well, I look forward to many more workshops and using this space for its intended purpose of education. Thank you so much.
Thank you.